Monday morning check-in. Appreciate y'all checking in as usual. It's been a whirlwind of a year already, and I appreciate you guys checking in every Monday with me and helping me sort through this new kind of direction we're taking in terms of me sharing some of the things that got me in the position I'm in now. You know, a lot of folks ask me, how did I decide to write a book? I tell them that, it wasn't about necessarily being an author. It was about me going back into prisons and jails and being a speaker and sharing my story. I felt like, when I was in prison, had someone like me. When I say me, I don't mean like, I'm this specific quality of person, but someone that had been to prison. If someone that had been to prison and had survived that experience and wasn't necessarily on their way back to prison, had they been able to come in and talk to me, I think that would have had a major impact on my trajectory of thinking for the remainder of my time. And so when I wrote my first book, that was the space I wrote that book from. And I still operate from that space because I needed to change my view of myself. I needed to believe a different definition of success. And, when you come out of prison, thinking about success as we have been taught about success, it's kind of daunting. It's overwhelming because you've got not only societal pressures against you, you've got, situations that you really don't have direct control over: parole, probation, housing. But there's some things that you can't take control over, right? And for 15 years of my life, I refused to take control over my gift. I refused to use my gift in a way that was going to leave a legacy as opposed to helping me get over or get by or overcome a situation that I never should have been in the first place. Right. So for 15 years of my life, I never used my voice. Right. I did, but I was a DJ, right? And when they took my microphone, I didn't know what else to do. Right? And it's funny, from someone who for 5 years, the first 5 years of their life, they couldn't speak because they had a stutter. And all the way through high school, I had a debilitating stutter. And so once I was able to overcome that stutter, I became a different kind of a person because I had confidence in my ability to speak. Well, that became my gift when, things got completely, upside down and topsy turvy. I was able to use my gift as a speaker to be an actor. I was able to use my gift as a speaker to be a DJ, right? That's what enabled me early on to come out of prison and get into the music industry. I just didn't know I wasn't supposed to be using my voice for entertainment, right? Well, once I discovered how to properly use my gift, that's when doors began to open. But to get to that gift, I had to get to a very vulnerable space, and I had to begin to uh, not only ask some questions of myself, I had to begin to answer some questions of myself. And those questions were, why are you not doing what you know that you can do right now? And that meant, even though I didn't have a book deal, I knew that I could go on YouTube and I could find a tutorial and learn how to self publish a book. So I didn't give myself an excuse not to become what I was trying to be. And in that moment, I was trying to serve someone just like me, right? And so as I, look back on the videos and thinking about, the story of the elephant and thinking about how we let people's opinion of us as children continue to be chains on us as we are adults. What I chose to do was no longer give myself an excuse, right? Now, admittedly, it came as a result of a health opportunity, right? And I was faced with some, you know, life decisions. And in that moment, I made the decision that if God agreed to let me live, I would share my story. What I didn't realize was that it wasn't just about sharing my story. It was about reversing generational curses. It was about leaving a legacy that was going to overlay what my family had previously been in terms of, every male of my family having been incarcerated that has my last name, the tremendous amount of death by gun violence, the 100 years of incarceration that has plagued my DNA. Sharing my story was much more than just going back into prisons. It was laying the first bricks of a legacy that was going to determine whether or not my children were going to end up just like my DNA predestined them to be, right? So as you think about why you're going to do what you're going to do, whatever that thing is. All right. For me, in the beginning, it was how do I learn more about being a criminal justice advocate? What can I do? It got to a point to where I was tired of just being the one that was called on to testify because I spoke well. I wanted to make sure that the things that I was speaking about, I was informed about so I could begin to weigh in on some of the policy decisions that were being made. But if you don't speak the language, it's hard for you to weigh in. And in some of those early rooms where I was brought in as an organizer, it's not a very inclusive room. The language isn't very inclusive. And, you can quickly feel like you are in the wrong room because everyone is smarter than you. Well, I want to encourage you that you should be in rooms where you're not the smartest person. You should be in rooms where you feel like you need to learn more in order to keep up. Because what you will find out is that not only should you be in that room, you're probably the only one anointed enough to lead that room. And so it's important that you do the work outside of game time. A lot of us only turn it on during game time. And we don't realize that, in order for us to be able to consistently perform, we have to consistently perform. So that means we have to practice just as hard as we play. We have to seek knowledge just as ardently as we seek attention, right? We have to be able to, in order for us to lead, we got to know what we're talking about. And you won't hear me calling myself a leader. You'll hear me referring to myself as a servant, because I figured out that the more people that I am trying to figure out to serve, that provides me the kind of on-ramp to the legacy that I'm trying to leave, which is a legacy of service. And I want to encourage you, as we think about in this new series of check-ins, there's very little about my past that when I was going through it, I could appreciate. But all of it, I'm able to see in retrospect was necessary for me to position myself where I am now, right? And now, in the sense of that, I am in constant pursuit of a worthy idea. I'm in constant pursuit of a worthy goal. And Earl Nightingale said that success is when you are persistently pursuing a worthy goal or idea. And once you realize that success is a process and not a destination, it enables you to reorient. It enables you to recalibrate, right? And I just want to encourage you as the week gets started to view what you would normally see as an obstacle as an opportunity. I encourage you to what you would normally see as something that is holding you back as something that's creating a way for you to get smarter, all right, and more creative. All right, Monday morning check-in. I appreciate you as always. My name is Louis Conway Jr. Please find me on my other platforms if you want to hear more about the stuff I talk about. All right, Twitter, Medium, and I am on Instagram as well. Not really too active on the picture thing, but I'll get better. All right, y'all have a good one. Appreciate you Monday morning. Have a good one.